with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kurt? I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak. Welcome to Speak. Welcome to Speak. I'm 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 who you with, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kurt, dog. I'm who you with, Kurt, dog. Want to welcome everyone to the show, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house. Also, we want to welcome Anchor FM. While we're doing the live shows, we are recording for the podcast shows on Anchor. I'm wondering why I couldn't see myself. I didn't have no lights on. Yeah, welcome to the show. We're going to hit up a couple of stories tonight, but we're not going to be on here long because it's been a rough night and have an early morning. So welcome to the show. You can live chat with us in the chat room. Whichever platform you are on, please support the show by liking, sharing, telling a friend that we are live. And also, if you have hearts or whatever you may have on that platform, raise them up. Let's get those numbers up. So tonight, this actually happened a couple of days ago. Ladon Penn. Yeah. I don't know if y'all seen the video, the picture of it. Wasn't a video, but a picture of it, where the brother, I believe his wife, was into a road rage incident, accidentally had an accident or whatever. But she called him about 30, 35 minutes later. He shows up holding the baby and also pointing a gun at the same time. So definitely, I don't know. Okay, that was from earlier. So definitely, we'll talk about that and talk about the charges he faces. Everybody who have a gun shouldn't have one. And then we're also going to talk about Greg COVID Abbott signed that voter suppression bill today in Tyler, Texas. So we're going to talk about that, and then also we're going to hit on a statement that he made about the abortion bill. So we're going to talk about that too. Like I said, we're not going to be on here long, but it will be strong. So you can live chat with us in the chat room, or you can even call in and give us your opinion. But if you call in, please understand that it's a couple of rules you have to follow. Please do not block your number. I would not answer. And also, please be respectful. Not only calling in, but also in the chat, be respectful. Because if not, we'll make sure you're unable to do it anymore. So once again, like I said, welcome to the show. Not sure what's going on with my system, but it's kind of dragging along, but we're going to keep it moving. So this article came out the other day. Gunman hold infant while shooting at 3 women during road rage. Yeah. The Cincinnati Police Department released a screenshot of a road rage incident that resulted in a man shooting at 3 women while holding an infant child in his arm. According to reports, 2 women were involved in a minor car accident on Wednesday. While the collision didn't cause any significant damage to other vehicles, words were exchanged between the 2 drivers. During the verbal exchange, one of the female drivers warned the other woman, "I'm going to go get my man. You better go get him. You better go get yours." Um, so Landon Penn arrived on the scene about a half hour later, before walking into a house. Once the 31-year-old man returned, he appeared with a handgun and was captured on video holding the gun in one hand and a baby in the opposite hand. A screenshot of the video shows Penn pointing his gun at the 54-year-old woman, her 2 female passenger, with the baby still in his arm. Penn allegedly shot the 3 women, and caused the 50-year-old driver to suffer a gunshot wound to the forearm due to a ricocheting bullet. Penn was later arrested by police, who found the 9mm pistol in his possession at the time of the arrest. Penn has been charged with felonies, assault, child endangerment, and having weapon while under disability. A fool and his gun. That's all I can say. A fool and his gun. Welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. Thank you for tuning in. I'm always supporting the show. So this dude had wife called him half hour later. He show up. Now the wife, I don't know who she was, but said, "Well, I'm gonna go get my man, and you better call yours. You better get yours." Um, Now, I'm not gonna say no name because, but anyway, she called the man. He shows up with a baby in one hand and a gun in the other hand, and also shot at the women. Now, reason why I say a fool and his gun. First of all, it was a minor accident. Whatever the situation was, y'all could exchange insurance information, not unless you didn't have none. Could have changed insurance information and let them deal with it. It's no use of getting upset. Um, but then you come up there with your baby in your arm and shooting at these females for the minor accident. And I could just imagine, uh, if that baby don't have hearing damage, because it's a small child. This child looking at the picture, may be less, maybe no older than 6 months old, but definitely less than a year old. And this baby holding on for dear life as the daddy point the gun at the women and shoot at them, which is crazy. That's why we everybody shouldn't have guns. Everybody should not have guns, and he need to be held accountable. And I wonder if they're going to try to bring charges up on his wife for calling, because if it was a minor accident, you could have just solved it. Now it's different if the 3 women was trying to attack his wife. It still don't justify shooting a firearm with your child in your arm. It don't justify that. So, but that's everybody. I don't know the full story. The full story haven't came out yet, but apparently at some point we will get the full story. But from what I'm reading so far, he don't need to have a gun. And if your wife was not being attacked, There's no use of having a gun. You coming up acting like that, because I could just imagine how his wife got, baby, come up here. These heifers up here acting the fool. And I done hit them or they done hit me. They caused me to run into them, whatever it was. But you gotta have a calm shoulder when have to have your mind clear when you decide to carry a firearm, and you gotta know what to do, when to do it. If your wife wasn't in danger, it was no use of pulling it out. Bottom line. So we'll be watching this story because right now he's charged, and that child endangerment, I don't know, but it's not going to look good for him. So that's my opinion about it. I'm not in law enforcement. I'm not a lawyer, but you shooting a firearm while you're holding your child, yeah, that's crazy. Um, Greg Abbott. Yeah, Greg Abbott. We mentioned, I think it was Sunday, we mentioned that the voter suppression bill was on his desk, or it could have been, yeah, I think it was Sunday. And he decided to sign it today. But also, in the midst of signing it, he also put out a statement about the abortion bill. He talked about the abortion bill. It won't force rape victims to have babies. So basically, um, what he's saying, if a woman was raped, because apparently he been listening to the show, because I mentioned that last time about how are you going to force a woman to carry a rapist child? And he's saying that bill does not force them to carry it, which is good. But then he says some other things. Um, he says some things about, I'll just read it. Texas Governor Greg Abbott weighed in on the burning question related to the state recently passed bill banning abortion after 6 weeks. What about victims of rape? During a Tuesday press conference, Abbott said the law gives rape victims up to 6 weeks to get abortion, and thus does not do that, force victims to have their assaulted child. Let's be clear, rape is a crime, Abbott said, and Texas will work tireless to make sure that we eliminate all rapists from the street of Texas by aggressively going out and arresting them and prosecuting them and getting them off the streets. The state of Texas have taken a national beating for the passage of Senate Bill 8, which went into effect September the 1st under the law. Abortion cannot be performed once a fetal heartbeat is detected. As soon as 6 weeks before many women even know they're pregnant. SB 8 allowed private citizens to sue abortion providers or anyone who helps someone get an abortion. Some critics say this world, they basically put a bounty on people's heads and encourage feverish lawsuit. Citizen can be sued for $10,000 or more if an abortion is performed outside of the 6 week period. My thing is, how would they know it been more than 6 weeks? Are you getting a medical records? And or is somebody leaking that information? So I feel that it's still a woman's choice. We should not be able to tell a woman what to do with her body. But Greg did sign this voter suppression bill here in Texas, basically saying it's gonna make it harder to cheat. Now I don't know. It was no proof of anybody voting for Biden to win this election illegal, but we do know there was a lot of people that actually voted for Trump illegal. So he tweeted out today, proud to sign Senate Bill 1 into law, which will uphold the integrity of our election in Texas. Thanks at Senator Brian Hughes and Rep. Murr for leadership on this issue. The law will make it easy to vote and harder to cheat in the Lone Star State. Make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. Well, basically what you're saying, you're gonna, and according to this bill, you're gonna remove some, you're gonna make it harder for the minorities to be able to vote because of the large turnout this last November during the election. And so you're going to make it even harder for people can get out and vote. And when he first started talking about it, they was talking about closing some of the polling place in certain neighborhoods, especially down in Houston. We seen in the last election, he actually tried to have one drop-off place for mail-in ballots. Now, yeah, Tarrant County is a huge county. And if you have a drop-off place on the west side of Tarrant County, but all the people on the east side that's doing mail-in ballots may not be able to get out there. So that's not fair. These are the type of games he played last year. He tried to do it. So now he's changing the bills where he can do it. And even Dallas County, they wanted one drop-off place in Dallas County. But Dallas County run from Rockwall all the way over to Grand Prairie. That's a large area and then from I want to say it's 635. I don't know if Foreman's Branch. I think Foreman's Branch is part of Dallas County too. Yeah, it is because part of Dallas run through there. So Foreman's Branch all the way down to Ellis County, which is I guess Midlothian area. So he's playing these type of games. And it's not easy for everyone to get out and vote because a lot of people may not have transportation. They may not be able to afford the bus service. So these are the type of games he's playing. And that's why, just like I told Dan Patrick last night, start packing your bags because you finna get voted out next year. We're going to vote you out. We're going to change the laws to where it's going to benefit everyone and not just one group of people. Take the laws and move on. That's all you have to do. Trump laws, and that's it. Marcellus, welcome to the show. Thank you for always supporting. Say good evening, everyone. It's the People Show. I appreciate it. Marcellus said, we call that throwing rocks and hiding their hand. How are you going to make voting better while trying to keep people from voting? Because he only concerned about a certain group of people. Trump woke a lot of people up. He woke a lot of people up because what they have done with Trump, they basically have woke up the sleeping giant. Because a lot more people have came out and vote. We've seen in several midterm elections. When was it? All the new records that was broken where some city have gotten their first elected officials. I believe it was Ladon or Frisco. They got their first black mayor, and the other one got their first black female city council. Grand Prairie elected two brothers to city council. So yeah, it's one of those things where he's throwing rocks, hiding his hands, and pretending like he's not doing nothing wrong. But that's how they play this political game. And that's why we need to make a difference. Welcome to the show. T. Cal is up in the house. Thank you for always tuning in and supporting the show. No matter which platform you're on, please take the opportunity to like, share, subscribe, send hearts, whatever you have to do to support the show. So definitely do that, and we really appreciate it because we are working uh, hard to come up with some new stuff for the next couple of months into next year. Once we're ready to share it, we would definitely let you know. And we, Miss Risky, thank you for taking lead on that because we are working hard trying to make some things happen. Um, but we're also we want to be able to bring more shows to you. Um, Dealing with other things that's going on. We want to have a fun time. We don't want to always talk about politics and all of that, but we also need to make people stay informed because a lot of feedback I get is is if it wasn't from you, I never would have heard about this story, heard about that story, and I take that from Warren Ballantyne, who was they called him the people attorney, I believe, or something like that. And back when I was driving trucks full time and um, going all across this world, but I used to listen to him all the time on Sirius XM, and he would bring up a lot of these stories that I never heard of before because mainstream media would not talk about them. Um, Kind of like the movie Fruitville Station. I heard about it first on his show. I didn't know much about it, but once I heard about it and started looking into it, and I'm like, wow, then they made the movie about it. So I knew what the movie was about, and I knew it was based on a true story. If you haven't had the opportunity to check out Fruitville Station, definitely check it out. It's a very good story, very strong story. And I don't know if Michael B. Jordan actually was doing movies before then, but that was the first movie I seen him performing in. And it's a great movie, Fruitville Station. Check it out. It's been out for a pretty good while, and it's based up on a true story. A lot of these stories that we cover dealing with police brutality, killing unarmed people, and getting a slap on the wrist. So definitely check it out, Fruitville Station. I mentioned that movie several times on the show, but it's a powerful story, and this what we're talking about today, dealing with police brutality. This is nothing new. I get comments. People say, "Oh, you talk about this, you talk about that all the time," but at the same time, what's wrong with putting a spotlight on it to make people aware of it? And if you one of those type to say, "Oh, you always talking about this, that, or whatever," I don't want to hear that. Well, you have choices you can make, but you choose to come and listen because what we're talking about is giving people information that you're not going to go to the news outlet and talk about it, hear them talking about it. Because as long as they can keep it under the rug, they don't have to worry about it getting out. So with myself and several other people that actually do this, it's a reason why, because it actually do make a difference. I get stories all the time about different cases, and it's overwhelming sometimes. But I'm dedicated to do it. We do our homework on it, and I tell anybody when they come to me with a story I haven't heard about, I'm gonna check it out. If it don't sound right, I'm not gonna deal with it. I look at everything before I just make a judgment on it. I have to look at every part of it. But some people they like, oh, it's my son, it's my daughter, it's my cousin, it's this, that, or whatever. But once you start looking deeper into it, you start realizing, hey, the hand wasn't all that clean. So that's the reason why we do cover a lot of these stories. And then now, since last year with Trump, well, not just last year, but since Trump was elected in 2016. Um, but this past year, with all this voter um, and stuff that he trying to say it was cheating and stuff like that, and now we got the politicians trying to change the laws. So you're not gonna hear um, a local TV station talking about voter suppression. You're not gonna hear them expressing that, hey, what they're trying to do is wrong, or what they're deciding to do, it's wrong. It's going to make it harder for the low community to get out and vote, because they're going to close the polling place in those particular neighborhoods and make it where you got to go way across town, where you barely surviving already, but now you're going to have to come up with a way to get over there. And you also have to remember in this bill, uh, I don't know if they took it out. I haven't looked at it in a while, but at one point they wanted to make it wrong for people to give people rides to the polls, and that was wrong. So uh, in the Black community, like, it was uh, on Sundays, they will have a Super Sunday where we ride to the polls and go vote. So they trying to eliminate those things. Now, if you're one of those ones sitting back complaining, you're probably not getting out and voting. You're probably not even registered to vote. So before you complain about it, look at everything and then turn around and ask yourself, hey, what can I do to make a difference? Don't just sit back in a corner when things don't go your way and complain about it, instead of trying to come up with a solution about it. And that's one thing that we are doing. We're making people knowledge of what's going on, and it's up to us to make a difference. Not just talk about it, but we need to be about it. Because we could talk all day long, but if we don't get out and do something about it, it wouldn't even make a difference. We just running our mouth. That's all we're doing. But with us, I'm encouraging everyone, please get out and get registered to vote, and get out and vote, for the simple fact, if you don't vote, they're not concerned about you going out marching and protesting, because they're gonna say that's all people gonna do anyway. They're gonna march, protest, and tear up their neighborhoods. But if you start marching to the polls and voting, oh, we can get some things changed. We can get some laws changed, but it's going to take more than just a handful of folks. It's going to take all of us to do it. So, yeah, we definitely need to continue to get out and vote, get registered to vote. Like I said, I didn't sleep good last night. Woke up 3 o'clock this morning. I'm not didn't sleep good, and I have an early morning tomorrow because gotta hit it. So, but tomorrow night we should be back tomorrow night if the good Lord say the same. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and until tomorrow night, peace.